Take that one, grab some more. Sure.
Sawyer, so yes.
I usually do that.
This is Mayor, he's one of the board members. Hey, she lives in North. And I'm sorry, Adam, Levi. She lives in the neighborhood.
On the Hunter's Run.
Welcome to the Honeywood Township Board of Supervisors meeting, Wednesday, June 11th. Let's start the meeting with the pledge of the flag, please.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with some announcements. There are 4 hearing assistance devices available for anyone who needs them. You can just come forward and we'll help you with those. In accordance with Resolution 2-2012, you're informed that Scott Stilson, Visit Drive, is recording tonight's meeting for posting on YouTube. This meeting is also available from remote locations using Microsoft Teams. And in accordance with Resolution 20-2023, the rules of conduct for public meetings and public comment period shall be observed and are listed at the bottom of the agenda. Next, we'll move into public comment. If you could provide your name and address for the record, and you'll be limited to 3 minutes. Is there anybody on this side here? Anybody on this side?
Good evening, Shane Haddon from Lorraine. Recently, at a planning commission meeting, Horton appeared, and they shared their plans for the plans around the neighborhood speedway. As part of the presentation, they made a verbal commitment to give the speedway grounds to the speedway organization, and they also made a bunch of other promises about creating public park facilities at that location. I'd just like to urge you to hold them to their promises by asking them to finish anything along those lines. If it's not strictly a profit maker for them, ask them to do those things up front. That's perfectly within your rights to do. Plenty of other townships have done this as a condition for people to build large-scale housing developments in their communities. And as of June 9th, probably wondering why don't I trust these guys? I'm not the only one. I looked up their reviews on Consumer Affairs. They had 5-star ratings. They had 96 of them. 4-star ratings, they had 21. 3-star ratings, they had 31. 2-star ratings, they had 144. 1-star ratings, 1,304. I don't think anybody here would buy anything from an Amazon seller with those ratings, and you wouldn't trust an eBay product that had that either. So they haven't done much to earn our trust. They've said nice things. Words are winning. Protect this community, and please make sure they put their money where their mouth is. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on this side of the room?
Lorraine, 275 Vincent Drive. I have a couple of comments about procedural things that we've been doing with the township. I had checked the township website on Monday night, and the packet of information for today's meeting was not available. So I'm wondering, when is that information supposed to be posted?
24 hours ahead of the meeting. So
Okay?
Tuesday.
It's just hard to review over 100 pages in less than 24 hours. The second thing is the Honeybrook Treasurer's Report and the Profit and Loss reports. They're not approved, reviewed, approved, however you want to acknowledge it, like the other department reports. So like Kristy, yours is your report, Warren's is Warren's report, but the financial reports don't say who prepared them, who approved them, and things like that. So I have looked at those reports. They're not the easiest reports to read for a person that's not in accounting or is not used to seeing those type of values on a normal basis. So I have marked up those reports. And these are just suggested, recommendations. You can review them and see if they make sense to you. But they would clarify or make it easy to see the restricted and unrestricted funds. My third comment is, I've used the website Contact Us page recently to make a comment, and that comment page or the Contact Us page does not allow for attachments to be added. So that would be an improvement to the website to add that, so that the residents can make a comment, add a picture, or do whatever they need to do. Now, I would like to add my comments to the financial reports via that form. So maybe you guys can tell me how I can submit it to the township, since it's not available.
info@honeybrooktwp.com.
Okay, so I have to do it a different way.
You have to email, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else on this side of the room with any comments? If not, we will move on to the consent agenda. We have all of the reports. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 12? I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Next, department reports. Board of Supervisors. I don't have anything. Nothing. Okay. John Johnson, Public Works.
We have almost completed our project up here on Suplee Road with the pipe replacement. I mean, I'm letting it settle a little bit here, and then we'll, dig it back out and put the final paving in the next few weeks. And we've done our spot sealing and chipping on the roads that we were going to do this year, and we are now working on Mountain View Road over there for fixing some of the bad areas in that. And as far as I know, I think we're doing our regular seal coating. It'll be the end of June or beginning of July.
Okay. Thank you. Next, Kristy Desharette.
Thank you. Just a few things. One, there is some information in the lobby about lithium-ion battery recycling. They cannot be thrown out in the trash or put in the recycling bin. They do need to be disposed of with hazardous household waste. Any damage to a lithium-ion battery reacting with oxygen causes fire and or explosion. So it's very important that if you have the rechargeable lithium-ion batteries, that you recycle them in an appropriate manner. And there's more information on the hazardous household waste dates and registration on the Chester County Solid Waste Authority website. You can get to that from our website, but just be aware of that. The Chester County Health Department is already monitoring for West Nile virus. In the samples they've taken here in the township, they have not detected any thus far. And lastly, the administration office will be closed on Thursday, June 19th, in observance of Juneteenth. And that is my report. All right, thank you. Next, Warren Levesky.
Thank you. Just as usual, except the written report, I'm happy to answer any questions that the board has. And just wanted to introduce Les Gary. We'll stand up here in a second. He is a new board member. He resides in Nile. He is a long-time law enforcement officer. I've had the pleasure of knowing Les for at least 30 years at this point. So he just wanted to introduce himself.
Thank you.
And we have a point of contact now, so there's an avenue of communication open. Les has my number, I have his, so we have yet another contact with another HOA. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, Honeybrook Community Library.
I do not see anybody from there, and they do not submit a
Any report? Okay. Land Preservation Committee.
Good evening again. Key part of the update is the master plan, land preservation plan update is in progress. It includes a look back at everything that's been accomplished, look forward at all the work that's yet to be done, and lots on the why of the program. Key component on that why is what are called cost of community services studies. These studies look at the ratio of tax revenue from different land uses in a community and compares that to the cost of providing services for those particular uses. There are 155 studies done that we reference in our plan. 154 of those studies show that residential development, in spite of the adding new taxpayers, costs more in services provided than it generates in taxes. Industrial, commercial, and agricultural uses all consume far less in services than what they pay in taxes. Some of you are probably wondering, what about that one study that was different? Here in Honeybrook, we also did our own study of our own community, and we were not the exception. I think all of us can think back, none of us remember our taxes ever getting lower at any point in the past 20, 30 years, even when we've had these regular big new developments coming in. That's just not how it works. Residential development, Honeybrook requires $1.04 in services costs for each $1 of tax revenue generated. Typically, this would be even higher. There are some extenuating circumstances for this township in particular. For example, Amish kids don't go to public schools. They go to their own schools, but the Amish community still pays land taxes to the Trinidad School District. So farmers are subsidizing developments. This is one of many reasons why it's important to keep farming and keep our urban land. And thank your local farmer. This is also one of many reasons why we have a land preservation program here in this township. Land Preservation Committee remains here to make sure we can keep farming in Honeybrook and we continue to welcome applications.
Thank you. Next, Planning Commission.
Yes, good evening. I see several members of the Planning Commission are here this evening. We do have a few items for you tonight under new business that we'll be acting on in a moment based on recommendations from the group. We'll get to those in a minute. As for this month's meeting, as of now, I believe we have one zoning application to offer a recommendation, which you will see next month. At that point, there's no further business as far as I'm aware of at this time. So unless the group has additional comments, that's my overview.
Okay, thank you. Recreation and Parks Board.
We had our Honeybrook clean up the roads day a couple weeks ago, and we had an awful lot. Look at us, so many people from here, but we had an awful lot of, picked up so much plastic that you could just see the plastics on the side of the roads, how easily it can run right down into the Brandywine watershed, which, you know, that should concern everyone here. I want to give a special shout to Stephen Steve Jones, after we were done, I guess he came around and picked up a whole bunch of bags that we left on the sides of the road. I guess Don got them, and thank you guys, appreciate it. My next thing is the disc golf course will be coming in here pretty shortly. I think we'll be starting on that sometime soon. And we're looking forward to that. It'll be a 9-hole disc golf course at Umble Park. Next Thursday, we have a meeting, and we will have the unveiling of a landscaping plan after a lot of input these last couple months. And the final thing is, I'm involved in the partnership for Harmony Day, the community day between Honeybrook Township and Honeybrook Borough. I was going to ask the board if we could consider making a financial commitment, small as it, or whatever size, we could talk about it, discuss it, or whatever. The fundraising, the benefit for the partnership is scholarships, $1,000 scholarships for the high school kids. I know we've never done that before. We have a plan for Harmony Day at Umble Park that will include a bluegrass festival, several bands, nationally known bands, at least one nationally known band. That'll be next to the park. There'll be a big white tent there in case the weather doesn't cooperate. And also, we are going to have a skating contest. And more will come out about that soon. But how our Harmony Day is going to work this year is there'll be a 5K at noontime at the landfill around 2:30. The second event will be the Bluegrass Festival and a barbecue. And then later on in that afternoon, we'll start the skate park contest. And if we can get that approved from the Board of Supervisors. Parking is an issue. I talked to Warren about it. I've been talking to Honeybrook Community Church, and they're willing to meet with me for parking because there is no parking there, especially if both properties are having the event. There is no parking there. But it's an easy walk from the community church, as everyone knows, and I got the okay to, from her to talk to the elders coming up. So that's positive. And I guess that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, when is it? That's right, that's a great question. And how many days is going to be like that? It's not until September, so we have plenty of time.
September 20.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kevin. We'll move on to new business. The first item is to approve the list of bills for payment as prepared by the treasurer and the releases from letters of credit as recommended by the township engineer.
I'll make the recommendation for a vote.
Do I hear a second? All in favor? Aye. The second item is it Syncarpha? Syncarpha Land Development Plan 2025-2.
Good evening. Dave Fox from Rovermeyer, on behalf of Syncarpha. Steve Cohn from Syncarpha, as Chris Sustico. Did I pronounce it right this time? All right. Thank you. I'm on the floor on that. This matter was before you, I think, in discussion and perhaps before a zoning application. We were at the Planning Commission a couple of weeks ago and received recommendation on our 4 waivers as well as conditional, preliminary, and final. We have a letter from Mr. Reiner's office. We will comply with all the items in Mr. Reiner's letter, or Mr. Thomas' letter, other than the waivers.
You can if you would like.
And then the conditional.
And then the conditional approval, correct. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to review any other waivers with you, if you have any questions. This time we can entertain those. If not, you may choose to move forward.
I do not have anything.
Planning Commission was satisfied with the recommending all the waivers as well as conditional final plan approval. And again, there's conditions in the review letter that would have to be addressed prior to the recording of the plans.
Any questions?
No, I was at the planning commission, so they heard your presentation then, so I'm good. I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? That is for the 4 waivers. And then the conditional preliminary final plan approval, contingent upon the applicant satisfying all comments in the township engineer's review letter dated May 19th, 2025.
I'll make the motion to grant.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Good seeing you.
See you next time.
Next is a variance application. Zoning hearing 2025-3 of Mike Zook, 300 Poplar Road, tax parcel number 22-3-35.2, from section 27-1002.C.4 of the zoning ordinance of 2018 as amended to allow a proposed attached accessory dwelling unit to have a habitable floor area greater than 50% of the habitable floor area of the principal dwelling.
And just a background for the supervisors, I believe there might be somebody here for Mr. Zook this evening. I couldn't find you there.
Sorry.
In case you do have questions, they are present to answer any questions you might have. This is a 67-acre parcel at 300 Poplar Road. The property currently has a single-family dwelling and agricultural buildings on it. The attached dwelling units by ordinance have to be less than 50% of the floor area of the principal dwelling. So the relief being requested is to increase that to approximately 78-79% of the habitable floor area of the principal dwelling unit. The proposed improvements will result in a total of 1.9% impervious, well below the 5% max in that zoning district, so there's no issues there. Stormwater management plan is going to be addressed, as well as sewage planning module, which I believe will act upon later. Planning did review this, and they did issue a recommendation of support for the application, given the nature of the proposal and the number of acres involved in the parcel. So if you have any questions on that, or they are also available for questions as well.
I think that was it somewhere.
You were at the planning commission, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Very good.
Next is a special exception application of A Flores, 179 Cupula Road, tax parcel number 22-8-22.1, to allow a landscaping business as a limited impact home occupation. So there's actually 2 motions here. And then the second would be for a variance application to allow the limited impact home occupation hours to start at 6 a.m. in lieu of 7 a.m. required by the ordinance.
And that's correct. There are 2 motions in front of you, one being for the special exception for the limited home occupation, and also the time period for when the occupation hours would actually occur. So those are 2 actions before you. Recommendation of the Planning Commission, since there were people both at the Planning Commission, you heard that they were supportive of both items. And then a question for Beth. I know there was discussion about a partial stormwater waiver. I didn't see that on the agenda tonight. However, if we might be able to add that potentially, we might be able to make an action on that as well. We can talk about that after we make a recommendation on the 2 zoning applications.
Yeah, I think we can talk about that.
Yeah.
It's part and parcel of the plan, just so they, at least, even if we ratify it.
Right.
In the future, some guidance just to make sure. Did planning talk about that piece of it at all? It really is a board issue, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, I don't believe so, but I can't say for certain because Jennifer was at the planning commission meeting.
I believe they did speak about it.
They did, okay.
Carrie, is that correct? I believe you did speak about it.
Yeah.
Because they were speaking about the pond on site.
Yeah.
I think that was discussed.
I believe there's someone here this evening also, in case there's questions. Okay.
I just had one question done at 6 a.m. Was that on that second motion? Request to start a little bit earlier. I don't think it was brought up during the planning meeting. Do you also do snow removal operations? And do you have various times during the snow operations?
The snow operations really depends on, it's not basically right, so most of the time we have our shows on site for snow removal, so we basically just drive from our house to the job site and drive the snow shows on site. And that really depends on the weather, sometimes I have to do the shows back in my house at night time. And these trucks not really loud, you just drive in, park them, they say you can do that, you don't really make any noise.
The 6 a.m. start was only for the summertime hours, to get out in the field, get the work done, get back before it gets too hot.
It is.
So it's not for the winter, it's strictly for summertime.
Yeah, I get that. I just want to make sure that I was under the same understanding that I'm assuming landscaping, that you also do snow removal, and that snow removal may be there that hours when you're going to start and head out or come home, depending on the weather. So that's, we agree with that statement. That's all I have.
The planning commission was okay with the start time at 6.
Yeah, the recommendation from the planning commission was a support for both of those items. And I did confirm in the minutes, the draft minutes do say that PC had no objection to the stormwater waiver, provided no objection to by the township engineer, which Jennifer indicated she did not have any objections. But we can get into that separately, obviously.
Okay, so we'll take the first, we'll do the special exception application for the limited impact home occupation. Is there,
I'll make a motion to support.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. The second is the variance application to allow the start time of 6 a.m. in lieu of 7 a.m. required by the ordinance in the summer, during summer hours.
Make a motion to support.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then the third would be,
If you wanted to visit and I'll kind of turn to Beth as to how procedurally that should be handled, I mean, PC did indicate in their minutes that they did discuss it as one mentioned, so we have no objections to the request. I believe we do have a partial waiver in writing from the applicant related to utilizing a small project simplified method for stormwater in lieu of hiring an engineer and going with a full stormwater management plan. That's
You
the
do have a
request.
formal request from them?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Okay.
I believe it's part of the application.
Okay, I missed that. I guess they haven't actually submitted a stormwater plan.
Not yet.
I think that was the reason they did it wasn't added at this point, was that it's a little premature because they need permission to do the thing before they do the stormwater plan.
I guess my question was, could they conditionally approve it, given the fact that they get the zoning relief, that they wouldn't have to come back for another action on the waiver? And that's really the only reason I'm bringing it up.
I think that's fine. I mean, do you want to give just a quick synopsis for the board of what the waiver is?
Yeah, essentially it is, your ordinance restricts a simplified project for using the simplified method in the stormwater ordinance up to 2,000 square feet. Proposals for 4,000 square feet, which most ordinances allow up to 5,000 square feet typically. So this would fall in what a normal, general, other areas of Pennsylvania go up to 5,000 square feet for the same amount of impervious. to use a simplified method. So that's why we would have no objection in utilizing it, just because of the fact it's merely talking about square footage. And the square footage is within the normal range of what would be allowed under that procedure.
And that essentially lets you do a sort of a stone trench of certain dimensions, holds this volume, and call it a day rather than a detailed engineer-driven.
Yeah. There's also the option to use potentially a pond on the site, which would obviously control the stormwater runoff as well. So that's another option available, but it would allow them a more of a simplified approach than a full-blown stormwater.
And it still gets reviewed by the board.
That's correct, yeah.
So it would be a motion to either support, take no position, or no support to use the simplified.
It would actually just be a waiver.
A waiver.
Yeah,
A waiver
it's
to
a
utilize
waiver
the-
request, section 20-106.4 of the Township Stormwater Management Ordinance.
Correct.
What was that section again, Beth?
20-106.4. And it would be to allow that for a project of up to 4,000 square feet of additional impervious.
So, do I have a motion regarding the waiver request? Section 20-106.4.
I'll make a motion to support.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Very good.
Next item is.
I'm sorry, just a point of order, I'm sorry. Both of these applications, the zoning hearing is scheduled for June 30.
June 30.
Yeah, that's Monday, June 30, 6:30.
And just to be clear, I never asked the board if you want me to attend or to support. Assume that's saving there. Very good.
Next item is appointing Molly Buckley to a 3-year term to the Untitled Community Library Board of Trustees to expire December 31st, 2028. Do I hear a motion?
Make the motion to appoint.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The next is Resolution 2025-14, Act 537 Plan Revision for Mike Zook, 300 Poplar Road, tax parcel 22-3-35.2. This will be a motion to approve or not approve the resolution.
And just a reminder, if you remember, this is part of the zoning application we just discussed earlier. The reason for that is because of the fact that it's an accessory dwelling unit, so technically DEP requires sewage planning for that scenario when you have 2 dwelling units on one property. So this is part of the normal process for DEP approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Next is authorizing the solicitor to advertise the proposed zoning ordinance amendment number 211-2025, regulating short-term rentals for enactment on July 9th, 2025.
So this is the ordinance that last month you had authorized me to send to county planning with the one minor revision about the floor plan being posted. We made that revision. We did get comments back from county planning. That letter was circulated, and essentially looking at their comments, they were very minor in nature, and in consultation with Jen and Mike, we agreed, and Warren, there really wasn't anything that warranted changes. They were generally supportive of everything the township was doing. So the next step would be authorizing that to be authorizing to be advertised for enactment, as well as advertising the public hearing that will be part of the meeting in July, prior to actually enacting the ordinance.
Make a motion to authorize.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is to authorize the solicitor to advertise the proposed sewage management program ordinance number 2012-2025 for enactment July 9th, 2025.
So this is an ordinance that is a long time in coming for Honeybrook Township. Essentially, this is as the township's aware, we just received our Act 537 plan approval. Adopting this ordinance is a condition of that plan. Essentially, it divides the township into 3 quadrants, and every 3 years, one of those thirds is required to have their septic system pumped. That's part of DEP regulations and their process for communities with on-lot septic systems to ensure long-term viability of those as the sewage management plan for the township, rather than having failures and need to potentially extend public sewer. So this won't go into effect until January, but there's a public education component of it that, working with Mike and Lauren is going to be rolled out, and Kristy, over the rest of this year, so people understand the obligations. So we thought it was prudent to just get the ordinance in place now, so that we can reference the adopted ordinance kind of in future communications.
That's correct. And DEP has reviewed this draft already as part of the 537. We had to submit that along with the rest of the plan. And they've endorsed it, indicating that it meets all of their criteria before we would implement it. So that's just a little bit of background. I can answer questions. We'll have, as Beth said, we're going to have some more education on this in future meetings. That way people understand the whys, why we're doing this. The ultimate goal, obviously, is to maintain long-term longevity of on-lot sewage systems in the township, so that you can avoid getting into conditions where people have to go in holding tanks, or perhaps extend public sewer into other areas of the municipality, just as background. But we'll talk more about that in coming months.
This would go into effect next year.
Correct.
Yeah, the effective date is January 1st, 2026.
Doesn't it have like a pumper filling out some type of condition report kind of thing?
Very similar. Yeah, it's a very, and I'll be honest with you, it's meeting the minimum requirements of a pumper going out, doing an evaluation of the tank, pumping out the system, just again, to make sure that every system, it's like changing the oil in your car is the analogy I use, just to make sure that those systems are being maintained.
But we're not limiting what pumpers people are allowed to use, that kind of thing.
That's correct.
In fact, the county has been providing us for about 6 years now, reports from the pumpers. They submit their reports for all of their actions, and for every tax parcel that has had it done, we receive a report. So we have over 55% of people with on-lot systems already having reports come in on a regular basis. So it's not unfamiliar to people.
So the county requires the haulers to submit the records to the
Correct.
county currently.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to support it.
Or to authorize the advertising?
Yeah, authorize the advertising.
All in favor? Aye. Next is looking for a motion for the township manager to sign an agreement with Brandywine Conservancy to formally place the donated parcel at 123 Gibbon Road, tax parcel 22-4-44, under a conservation easement.
So just a quick background, the township was donated 10 acres of woodlands on Gibbons Road. The donor's intent was to keep it as a woodland parcel and permit like a walking trail, maybe a few parking spots. So this is the second portion. We acquired it a few months ago. This portion, then this puts the easement and the endowment in place, and that ensures that the conservancy would be the overseer of the easement, and to ensure that we're meeting the requests of that easement being in compliance, and it's just a normal course of action for any easement that the conservancy oversees.
Make a motion on
I'll second.
All in favor? Is there any other new business? Anybody else? Any old business? Hearing none? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I like it.